Hi,
Bonjour.
I'm Jackie behind the camera, and this is Matthieu in front of the camera. We're doing a story time for you today to celebrate the language and culture of France. What makes you an expert on France, Matthieu?
Well, I don't know if I'm an expert, but I was born in France and spent half my life there. And my family, my parents and siblings and nieces and cousins still live in France. And we go back every so often. So I'm kind of an expert, and I still speak French to my children and my wife at home. So I'm trying to stay in touch with my culture and my language. So today we'll be doing a few songs, and we're starting in the garden because one of the songs is about planting vegetables, but originally cabbage. I don't know if you like cabbage, le chou, but it's really popular in my home country, in my homeland of Brittany, which is the region of France, which is where I was born. So we'll do that, and then another song about that's more of a lullaby, and then we'll do a book. So first we're gonna go around the garden, and I will be introducing vegetables from a small vegetable garden here, and we'll be doing it in English and in French. And I would hope that I'll give you a little time to repeat after me. Okay? Can you do that? Everybody, okay? Mom,
Okay.
Dad, kids, everybody, okay?
I'll do my best as well.
Okay, all right. So let's start. We're gonna start here to the left, à gauche. You know what that is? That's a tomato plant. We don't have tomatoes yet. We planted them a little late. But tomato plant in French, tomate.
Tomate?
Tomate. Bravo. Okay. So I'm not even sure what those are, but we'll see. We might give you an update later.
And what kind of tomate?
Yes, what kind of tomatoes? So next we have some lettuce, de la laitue, also known as salade, or you can make a salad with it. They're a little gangly, but that's okay. We had some yesterday that are quite edible, and they keep coming back. It's fantastic.
So lettuce is salade?
Laitue.
Laitue.
Laitue ou salade. But usually in French you would say laitue, and with the laitue you make a salad. Does that make sense? Maybe. Yeah.
Oui.
Yeah. Okay, next we have some, let's see. Well, this is mostly eaten. I think I used most of it. This was spinach, épinard. You know what, this one is tired, but it's okay. You know what it is. It's spinach.
Épinard?
Épinard.
Épinard.
Yeah, épinard. Well done. Okay, this one's gone to seed. That's okay, we'll have more next year. Next to the épinard is, look at that, some beautiful white beans. Now, those are long beans. In French, they're called haricots.
Haricot.
Haricots, well done.
Haricot.
Can you repeat at home? Haricot. It's just 3 syllables, it's pretty easy. Haricot. Okay. We have multiple colors here. This one is white, and we have some purple ones. And purple is violet, like violet, okay, in French. Violet.
Violet.
Violet. Isn't that fantastic? You have the flowers, and then they just grow. It's fantastic. Now, between them, you know what those tops mean? Those tops are carrot tops. And I can't show you the carrot. I mean, I could. I didn't bring any implements, and I don't know if they're ready. But under those rows here, hopefully at some point, some beautiful, young, long, orange carrots. They do come in different colors, but those are orange.
How do we say it in French again?
Oh, this one is the easiest. So, it's easy. Carrot is carotte.
Carotte.
Carotte. Just say it with a French accent. Carotte. So, the R in carrot, it sounds really similar, but you do want to make it kind of guttural. It's not exactly a jota like in Espanol, but it is a bit of a gut, kind of raw sound. So, carotte, rot.
Carotte.
Yeah, well done. Carotte. Okay, carotte.
Carotte.
Carrot, carotte. Simple though. Okay, next we have a few more tomato plants. Remember again, tomate. And now this guy, that's the most exciting looking one. And if you zoom in here, come back closer, you can see, what do you think this is going to be? This is going to be a cucumber. Now, cucumber is pretty close as well. In French, it's concombre.
Concombre.
Concombre. So the first 2 syllables are the same thing. you just repeat it. Concombre. And then the bre at the end. Again, a little bit of the R, but it's pretty close to cucumber. Concombre. We've got, I think we have a ripe one. It might even be too ripe, but that foliage is fantastic. But it does hide things. But I did find one right here. Let's see if we can get it. Now, look at that bounty right here. It might be a little too big. You probably should pick your cucumbers before this size. But we'll still eat it, and it'll be delicious. So, here you go. Cucumber, concombre, and we'll have dozens of those. So, there's some good eating here. Now, next to the cucumber, or concombre, we have some kale. And you know what? I did not do my homework. People ask me, what is kale in French? And I'm not quite sure. I still don't know. So, I'll look it up, and I'll put it in the captions, maybe. Because I keep forgetting. So, it's in the same family as Brussels sprouts and actually cabbage. So, it's all the same family, and it was bred, hybridized over time to have different looks, but it started with the same plant. So we've got a few more, and some of them were eaten by rabbits, so we share some of our bounty in the yard. And let's see. And next we have berries. So this is a berry patch. We have some raspberries. This one's not exactly ripe.
How do you say raspberries in French?
There's another R here. It's called framboise. So there's two R's. Framboise. Just one, sorry. Framboise.
Framboise.
There we go. Framboise. Well done. So that's that. And then we have some currants. Looks that's cassis. Let's see if I can find one. Let's see. Here. Now that's the most bitter in the family here in our house. That's a currant, also known as a cassis. That's my favorite ice cream. But in ice cream, it does mixed with cream, obviously, and some sugar. So that's probably why it makes it a little less bitter. And then we have gooseberries over there, which are also in the same family. And then some rhubarb. And the rhubarb is also easy. It's rhubarbe.
Rhubarb.
So here it is, our garden in English and in French.
And in French would be le jardin.
Le jardin, yes, le jardin. And in this case, all of this is un jardin. But right here is a jardin potager. That's the vegetable garden. Jardin potager.
Jardin potager.
Potager, with which you can make potage, which is a vegetable soup. So there you go, it all works out.
Wonderful. We're going to go ahead and do our song about planting seed next.
And we're going to do a song called Savez-vous planter les choux, which translates to, do you know how to plant cabbage? And the first verse that leads into the song says, do you know how to plant cabbage in the way we do it? And this song requires to plant cabbage with body parts. Now, I will start with a finger, with notre doigt. And then I'll ask Max here, the son, what limb, what body part we'll be using. Okay, here it goes. Savez-vous planter les choux? À la mode, savez-vous planter les choux? À la mode de chez nous. Now, you can do this at home, okay? Okay. On les plante avec le doigt. À la mode, on les plante avec le doigt. À la mode de chez nous. Max?
Ear.
Okay. Ear is oreille. Okay. On les plante. That's a little tricky, but it makes really good cabbage. On les plante avec les oreilles. À la mode. On les plante avec les oreilles. À la mode de chez nous. Okay. How else are we trying to plant this cabbage?
Elbows.
Okay. That's a classic. Really strong planting with that. Okay. Elbow is coude. Okay? Okay, repeat at home and then try to do it. Okay. On les plante avec le coude. À la mode. On les plante avec le coude. À la mode de chez nous. Okay, how else can we try? We could stand up and use something in our
Let's use
lower
our
body.
toe.
Our toes, okay.
Toe.
Okay, so toe is pouce, okay? Alright, that's also pretty good. It's very precise. Okay. On les plante avec les pouces, à la mode, on les plante avec le pouce, à la mode de chez nous. Okay, how about one more limb? One more body part. What are we using? Okay. Knee is genou. Okay? Genou. Alright, maybe we'll go back down. Okay, you ready? Alright, this is gonna be a great harvest. Okay. On les plante avec le genou. À la mode, à la mode. On les plante avec le genou. À la mode de chez nous. Okay. Are we good? Do we have enough cabbage planted for the season?
I think we need one more.
Okay. We have enough seeds?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright. How else are we planting cabbage?
How about with our nose?
Okay. All right, sounds good. Now, not too strong, okay? I know it's cartilage, but you don't want to go too strong. Okay.
Yeah.
So nose is nez. Nez. All right. Let's go. Let's do this. Okay. On les plante avec le nez. À la mode, à la mode. On les plante avec le nez. À la mode de chez nous.
Bravo. Hi, I'm Jackie.
Hi, I'm Teo.
And Matthieu behind the camera is going to help us learn a song in French that we really like. What's that song called?
Head, knees, and shoulders and toes.
Right, so in English, it's head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes, and eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Okay, so we did head, shoulders, knees and toes in English, and now we're going to work on it in French. Okay, so let's do one word at a time. And we're not going to say the part in front of the words. We're not going to say the head. We're just going to say head in French.
Correct.
Okay, because in French, what are those called?
Pronouns. Les
Pronouns.
pronoms.
Oh, okay. So you ready? Tête, épaule, genou, pied, genou, pied. Tête, épaule, genou, pied, genou, pied. This is where I get messed up, Matthieu. Eyes.
So in plural, it's yeux.
Yeux.
Yeah.
Eyes and
Oreille.
oreille.
Yeah.
A
Bouche.
bouche. A
Nez.
nez. And then back to the beginning. Tête,
Tête. Épaule, genou, pied. Genou, pied.
You ready? Let's put it all together and see how we do. Matthieu, can you sing along with us? You might need to stand up. Let's see if we can put it all together into French.
Okay.
You ready?
Tête, épaule, genou, pied. Genou, pied. Tête,
Tête,
épaule, genou, pied. Genou, pied. Yeux et oreilles et bouche et nez. Tête, épaule, genou, pied. Genou, pied.
Bravo!
Bye.
Two, double high five. Good work, Teo. Bravo.
Now what?
I'll be playing Alouette, Gentille Alouette. And this song, don't judge me on that. It's a historical lullaby. It's been passed down from generations, but don't judge me on that. It's about plucking a bird. I know, I'm sorry for the bird. And it plucks the bird. Each verse is plucking a body part of the bird. So we'll start with the head, and then its beak. I don't know how you pluck a beak, but here it is. And then its neck, and then its wings. Okay? So I'll try that now. Okay? Here we go. Alouette, gentille alouette, alouette, je te plumerai. Je te plumerai la tête, je te plumerai la tête, et la tête, et la tête. Alouette, alouette, oh, alouette, gentille alouette, alouette, je te plumerai. Je te plumerai le bec, je te plumerai le bec, et le bec, et le bec, et la tête, alouette, alouette, oh, alouette, gentille alouette, alouette, je te plumerai le cou, je te plumerai le cou, et le cou, et le cou, et le cou, et la tête, alouette, alouette, oh, alouette, gentille alouette, alouette, je te plumerai. Je te plumerai les ailes, je te plumerai les ailes, et les ailes, et les ailes, et le cou, et le cou, et le bec, et le bec, et la tête, alouette, oh, alouette, gentille alouette, alouette, je te plumerai. This song is called Au clair de la lune, which translates to By the light of the moon. And it's a really, really old French song as well. And it was actually one of the first, well, it's the first known recording of a human voice, about 150 years ago. So it's kind of an interesting historical tidbit. So this song has been around, even as a recording, people have used it for a long time. So here it goes. Au clair de la lune. Au clair de la lune, mon ami Pierrot, prête-moi ta plume pour écrire un mot. Ma chandelle est morte, je n'ai plus de feu. Ouvre-moi ta porte pour l'amour de Dieu. Au clair de la lune, Pierrot répondit, je n'ai plus de plume, je suis dans mon lit. Va chez la voisine, je crois qu'elle y est, car dans sa cuisine, le briquet. Au clair de la lune, l'aimable Lubin frappe chez la brune, elle répond si bien. Il frappe de la sorte, il dit à son tour, ouvrez-moi la porte pour l'amour de Dieu. I will be reading the book Le Monstre de la Jungle. Now, both those words are pretty similar in English. You could just flip-flop that. The Jungle Monster. It's a book about this guy, an elephant named Plon Plon. That's his name, Plon Plon, who is taking a nap in the middle of the jungle, and then all of a sudden he just gets really scared by something. Can you figure it out? We'll see. We'll see if you can figure out why he's scared. It's a pretty exciting adventure. So, this is, again, Le Monstre de la Jungle by Sylvie Poilvet and illustrated by Hervé Le Goff. And this is published by Père Castor Flammarion. It's a French publisher. Okay, so there it goes. Le Monstre de la Jungle. Dans la jungle immense, tout est calme. Plon Plon, l'énorme éléphant, dort tranquillement. Soudain, des picotis, des gratillous, et surtout un grand cri le réveille. À gauche, à droite, devant, derrière, personne. Pourtant, au creux de son oreille, encore et encore, un grand cri résonne. Un cri gigantesque, un cri énorme, un cri monstrueux. Affolé, Plon Plon s'enfuit en courant. Remplan-plan, 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 font ses énormes pattes sur le sol. Il croise son énorme ami Hippo et, tout tremblant, saute sur son dos en bredouillant. Un monstre me poursuit. Un monstre? Un monstre? Courons, fuyons, hurle Hippo effrayé. et dans un nuage de poussière, tous deux s'enfuient à grand bruit. Mais devant eux se dresse leur énorme ami Rhino. « Pousse-toi !» hurle Plan-Plan et Hippo. « Un monstre nous poursuit !»« Un monstre !» bredouille Rhino. « Attendez-moi, je vous suis !» Remplan-plan, 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 remplan-plan. Les énormes pattes frappent le sol comme un tambour. Un tambour is a drum. Comme un tambour. Pam, 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 pam. Remplan-plan, remplan-plan, remplan-plan. La terre tremble, se craquelle, la poussière se soulève. Stop! Ça, c'est pas du français, c'est de l'anglais. Stop. That's not English. French, that's English. That's okay. Stop! Ça suffit tout ce bruit! Crie la voix du monstre. Dans une belle bousculade, les trois amis s'arrêtent. Où est-il, ce monstre? Où se cache-t-il? Where's the monster? Et soudain, ils le voient, là, au creux de l'oreille de l'éléphant. C'est une puce toute petite, toute rikiki, et rouge de colère qui leur dit: « Alors comme ça, je ne peux plus chanter tranquillement !» La fin. That's what I tell my kids. The end. La fin. I don't know if you saw it. It was a tiny little flea that was hanging out his ear and was singing, and that's what scared him. So, there you go. That was the story about le monstre de la jungle.
That kind of reminds me of the story of when Chicken Little thinks the sky is falling. And he gets everyone all worked up.
Mm-hmm.
But this one has a happier ending.
Yes. Just a flea singing.
Hi, Jackie here again. I wanted to go ahead and book talk some books that take place in France. A lot of them take place in Paris, France specifically. But one of the best ways I find to feel like traveling and experiencing a different country or land or even world sometimes is through books. So I wanted to share today some books that you can get at your local library, at your local bookstore to enjoy. The first one is written by one of the best children's books author, Mo Willems, and it's called Nanette's Baguette. This is a really fun story that has lots of internal rhymes in it. Nanette, clarinet, Suzette, get, let, lots of really fun segments. And there's lots of repetition as well. It's the story of a little girl named Nanette who goes to get the baguette for the first time. Now, this is a very common activity in France. There are local bakeries, boulangeries, on corners, and people often go there to get their fresh bread and sometimes other viennoiserie and pastries in the morning. Going and buying a fresh baguette is indeed an amazing experience. And a fresh baguette is warm, and it does smell wonderful, and it tastes even better. So you can kind of experience the joys of this everyday act, which is common and wonderful and beautiful all at the same time, through Nanette's Baguette by Mo Willems. He creates this whole little fun set that makes you feel like you are in a French town. Now the next book is also by Mo Willems, and this one is a little bit longer of a book. It is a book that I would consider an early chapter book. It's a really fun read aloud. It's one that I often read with my first or second graders at Lemmy, and it's called Deva and Flee. Now, I've taken the book jacket off of my copy because I've used it so many times. I find it easier to tote it around without it. But this is the story of Deva and Flee. The story is written by Mo Willems and it's illustrated by Tony DiTerluzzi. And it is such a fun story. It is the story of a dog named Deva, who is indeed a diva. She lives in an apartment building in Paris. She has a big fancy beau and she's very well taken care of, but she doesn't leave her courtyard very often. But she meets a cat named Flea, who is a flaneur. He is somebody who wanders the streets exploring. It's an actual word, an actual occupation and habit. hobby, I guess you could say, of people in France, is being a flaneur. So, this cat tells the dog all about the beautiful sights just around the corner from where she lives, including the Eiffel Tower, which Deva had no idea she lived near. So it is a very fun story that takes you through some really cool sights in France. Excellent storytelling. Dribbles and drips of French vocabulary in there. And it even has Mo Willems himself drawn by Tony DiTerlizzi meeting Deva. It's very fun. So that's the story of Deva and Flee. Classic, one that many people may have heard of, but still one of my favorites for kind of getting a sense and essence of different landmarks in Paris, is Madeleine. And this is by Ludwig Bell, I should know how to pronounce his last name, B. Melman. I probably just butchered that. I'll have to ask the expert how to say that. So, the story of Madeleine is about an orphanage and a little girl. You know, this line you may have heard. In an old house in Paris, covered in vines, lived 12 little girls in 2 straight lines. In 2 straight lines, they broke the bread and brushed their teeth and went to bed. And so this is the story. It actually takes them through all of these very historical places in France. And actually, the last time we went to Paris, we went to almost everything listed in here, which was really fun to do because it was like you are getting to act out the Madeleine story when you're on vacation. That has the Notre Dame, unfortunately, which was burnt last year, and they've been working on rebuilding it. It has Luxembourg Garden, which is one of our favorite places because you can go and rent sailboats and push them across the pond with a stick. And every sailboat has a different country's flag, and there's one pirate ship flag. And it's very fun to play sailboat on the pond. And so these books are fun because they take you through kind of the whole world of Paris, and there's a whole series of them. So if you enjoy a classic tale, I would look into Madeleine. The first chapter book I want to tell you about is called The Last Musketeer. This is a really cool time travel trilogy about a boy named Greg Rich, who happens to travel back in time to the time when the 3 Musketeers existed in Paris. So Paris was a much smaller city than it is now, but the main island in the middle where Notre Dame Cathedral is, was there. And so was the famous prisons. So Greg Reach gets involved in some great mythical, adventurous antics with the original 3 Musketeers. You may recognize Stuart Gibbs, the author, from Fun Jungle series or the Spy School series. The next book I want to tell you about is a historical fiction called The Lace Maker and the Princess. This book is written by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley, and this tells the story of a young girl who is a lace maker. So lace is a material, kind of looks like this, that was hand sewn and takes a very long time to do. They would take bobbins of material and weave them intricately to create the lace. So she was delivering the lace to the queen at Versailles when she gets disrupted by some courtiers. And she gets hired by the queen to become the queen's daughter's companion. So you get a look into palace life at Versailles and what it might have been like for Marie Antoinette and the family to live there. And this is right before the French Revolution. So you get that good contrast between the different caste class systems and the people who are working really, really hard for getting a little bit of food on the table, and the royals who seem to have lived quite a privileged life at that time. So if you like historical fiction, that would be a great choice. If you are fond of scary stories and you can handle a little bit of spookiness and ghosts, I recommend Victoria Schwab's book Tunnel of Bones. This is a modern book about a girl who is a psychic and a medium, and she can speak to dead ghosts. And she goes on a tour in the catacombs underground Paris, which is where they have all of these skeletons and bones lined up in the tunnels. And you can go and tour this as a visitor in Paris. And she's down there and she experiences ghosts and poltergeists. of the bodies that were buried down there. So if you can handle a really spooky story, I recommend that one. The third and final book I'd like you to consider is a chapter book called The Invention of Hugo Cabret. This is by Brian Selznick, and it is a very, very thick book. It also takes you back in time to 1930s France, but it feels like a wonderful, adventurous trip. This takes place in Montparnasse train station, which is a very popular and well-known train station in Paris and kind of the epicenter for getting wherever you might want to go. Their story takes place with a boy who happens to fix the clock in this train station, and he comes across the well-known filmmaker Georges Méliès, and he learns about kind of like the silent film era. It's a beautiful book that has illustrations and that fill up in between the story and the narrative text, so it kind of feels like you're in a silent movie as you're reading it. And so that would be my final recommendation for taking a little bit of a historical trip to France.
I hope you enjoyed this short taste of French culture with song and stories and some vocabulary. And I will close this program with a little history lesson on Bastille Day, which is the French national holiday that we call le 14 juillet, which translates to the date that it refers to, which is the 14th of July. Bastille Day today in France means, usually to most people, a military parade, as well as municipal fireworks everywhere in the country. But above all, originally, Bastille Day symbolizes the end of the monarchy and the beginning of the republic. The holiday is really rooted in its history, the history of its birth in 1789. In the late 18th century, a lot of France was unhappy about high taxation, as well as poor harvests, just before the French Revolution, and the sometimes extravagant lifestyle of the nobility. So in May 1789, the king brought to Paris the closest thing that the kingdom had to shared governance, to a government beyond his own rule, to hear the complaints of those not belonging to either the clergy or the aristocracy. Aristocracy meaning nobility. And that means that merchants, representatives of merchants, farmers, landowners, bankers, artisans, craftsmen came to Paris. But failing to be heard, the representatives decided to form a national assembly. They broke away from the process because they weren't even given a vote at the table. In June of that same year, the deputies took an oath on a tennis court, of all places, to not separate until the Constitution had been established. So they kept working on that, and the deputies' opposition was echoed by public opinion and public outrage, which culminated on July 14th, 1789, on the people of Paris rising up and marching on the Invalides, which was a military hospital but also an armory, for its cache of weapons, and to the Bastille, hence the name, the Bastille, which held gunpowder, but also prisoners of the state, which they wanted to free. The medieval fortress in part symbolized the now challenged ways of the Ancien Régime being the time before the French Revolution. So the storming of the Bastille symbolized immediately something very historical. It was proof that the power belonged not to the king or to God, but to the people. And that was in accordance to the work of philosophers of the 18th century, some of whom had also influenced the American Revolution. So on July 16th, that same year, 1789, the king recognized the tricolor cocarde. And the cocarde is the ancestor to this right here, the French flag, of the three colors representing those three parties: the clergy, the nobility, and the people. So the French Revolution had succeeded in part, but plenty of turmoil, of problems still followed. This is probably for another day. So the storming of the Bastille again symbolizes for all citizens of France, liberty, democracy, and the struggle against all forms of oppression. So how it became a national holiday really is another story, but briefly, in an effort led by Lafayette, whom you might know from his efforts supporting the American Revolution, France celebrated the following year, on July 14th in 1790. But Bastille Day, as it is known in English, really only became a national holiday in 1880. In the meantime, much had happened. France knew emperors, including famous names like Napoleon. It knew emperors, it knew a constitutional monarchy, meaning that there was a parliament but also a king, not unlike England or the United Kingdom. But that also may be for another day. Thank you.